The scene starts with Tony Huang walking across the frame. The camera is up high to provide an overlook, if you will, into his life. The life of a youth who grew up in Cabramatta during this troubling time. We edited the footage to change it to black and white as we zoomed in on the character to give the viewer a sense of insight to past events in a Vietnamese person's life. This then changes to a close-up on Tony Huang's face. We used a talking head as an emotional appeal to the viewer so they can connect with the issue we were beginning to raise, the language barrier within Vietnamese families. We then changed to a talking head of Chow Huang, Tony's mother, to emphasize this barrier and how it has divided their family. We hear Tony speaking English while his mother is speaking her native language, Vietnamese. We wanted to show how an inability to communicate within a family had a negative effect on the people within. In the case of Tony Huang, he felt alone, unloved, resulting in him rebelling. We use this family because it is a story that the viewer will emotionally connect with, and thus show sympathy towards. This family is representing the Vietnamese community during this time. To do this, we added some actual footage of the family, along with some video editing to make the photos appear damaged, representing the damaged and broken families themselves. The scene then changes back to a close-up on Chow Huang's face, as she discusses her son's inability to communicate with herself and her husband. The lack of communication between the family members causes damage to everyone, as the basic things that need to be said, like "I love you," and information in day-to-day life is lost. This is followed up by a close-up on Tao Huang's face, Tony's older sister. In the case of this family, Tan was translating between her parents and her younger brother, as many Vietnamese families with young children in Australia would have to do. She raises the issue of censored translation, where what needed to be said was changed, so the family will be closer together, being more protected and loved. Tony then became the centre of attention when we have a close-up on his face, as he talked about his emotional struggle with having no communication with the people who raised him, cared for him, and loved him due to this language barrier. The scene then changes back to the high camera angle over Tony Huang in black and white. The shot then zooms out to symbolize a snap back to reality, terminating the insight in Huang's life. The shot isolates Tony, symbolizing the distant feeling he had with his family and his feeling of being alone. We then move to archive footage filmed during the early years of multicultural Australia. We aim to change our focus from the language barriers within a family to the language barriers in society that separated the Vietnamese with Australian authority. To show this, we had a montage of clips of current Cabramatta and that of archive footage. We followed this up with an extreme high camera angle looking down on Cabramatta from above, making the suburb look small. We did this to show the viewer how a place in society so small could have such large problems between the families that lived within that and the authority that was not equipped and prepared for the job of protecting them. We used a montage of archive footage, edited to be in black and white and appear to be damaged, so we could portray our next idea, the corrupt authority in Vietnam. We then switched to a close-up on Hien Le, who gives a personal recount of the life of Vietnamese people back in Vietnam. He talks about them being afraid of authority because when the police came knocking on your door, you knew you were in deep trouble. Because of this, the Vietnamese did not trust the authority, the police, and did not want the government involved in their life in any way, shape, or form. We use sequencing to end the scene here with a particular footage, to tie all the issues explored together and to show the viewer where they originated from. We wanted to let the viewer have an understanding of why Vietnam did not trust the Australian authority and how this led to a barrier being wedged between the Vietnamese community and the authority led to protect them. The barrier was not only that of language, but a barrier being set due to the fear of authority that originated in Vietnam.